Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ColoradoSports.TV coverage of the 2015 Mayday Mayhem tournament, hosted by the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls of Greeley, Colorado, who happen to be one of the two teams playing in this next game. My name is Mark Bradford, also known as Brad Example.
And I am L. Ryan Hubbard, only known as L. Ryan Hubbard.
We will be bringing this game to you. The opponents for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls in this game are the Winnipeg Roller Derby League All-Stars from Winnipeg, Manitoba. We are here at the Budweiser Event Center in Loveland, Colorado. Two tracks of play. This is track number 2, the third game on track number 2. The skaters are getting ready for the next game. Might give us a little bit of time to introduce the skaters from each team. Ryan, who's skating out there for Winnipeg?
Winnipeg is going to be number 0, Sourpuss, 55, Flemme Fatale, 1107, Scar 2 Butte, 1108, D3PO, 117, Girl Meat, 14, D Mandabrawl, 145, Payne Dexter, 204, Lex Go, 206, Payne Goodall, 21, Ella Hitzgerald, 22, Tenacious V, 411, Pint Size Poison, number 5, Derby Little Secret, number 52, Missile Behaved, 613, Rants in Your Pants, 63, Put It On My Tab, 69, Annie Position, 88, Pterodactyl, 9, Sinfully Sweet, and 99, Threatsky.
Skating for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls, got number 09, Viper. Number 1190, Ricochet. Number 13 is Madame Medusa. Number 16, Cat Von Devious. Number 187 is Slim Slam Mayhem. Number 214, Krista Knight. Number 2M is Tongue in Cheek. At number 3, we've got Tootsie Poppins. Number 30 is Robin De Niro. Number 357 is Jaded Pixie. Number 55 is Bodacious. Number 612 is Suki Scraphouse. At 65, we've got Steve Phoenix. Number 707 is La Fonda Yo Mama. Number 72 is Busty Galore. 747 Scamalicious. 85, Tripsy Gypsy. Number 9 is Emma Wrecking Ball. Number 928 is Betty Crack-a-Ho. Number 99 is Pepper. And we're already gearing up for our first game. We are underway.
That's right. Winnipeg, for all of you there, is in purple. Slaughterhouse in red. Some big hits there early on, but it is going to be Winnipeg getting that lead jammer status. That is number 1107, Scar to Beat You.
And number 1190, Ricochet has the star for Slaughterhouse. Scar to Beat You through the pack, 5 points.
And Slaughterhouse now making her way through that pack to start her scoring run.
An open inside line lets Scar to Beat You scamper through that pack for 4 more and call it off.
That's right, gets on her toes, takes that inside line, picks up 9 points for that jam, and she calls it off.
That worked less than a minute off the period clock. 2 30-minute periods of play separated into scoring sessions called jams, which last a maximum of 2 minutes, 30 seconds in between jams. We are situated in such a fashion that we cannot see who's jamming till they come past us, so apologies for that. But
there's a close call there. Slaughterhouse almost fielding too many skaters, got one off at the last second, and Slaughterhouse now getting lead jammer status. That is Betty Crack-a-Ho, quickly making her through the pack. Number 206, Payne Goodall for Winnipeg, hot on her tail. Some penalty trouble there for Winnipeg. Now just 3 blockers out there for each team. Now a full pack. A big hit there. And then we have number 928, Betty Crack-a-Ho, calling off that jam. 2 points for Slaughterhouse, 3 points for Winnipeg.
That's right, Payne Goodall able to sneak into that pack and pass 3 opponents before the 4th whistle blow, and so actually winning the jam, taking us to a score of 12-2, advantage the visiting team in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is not ranked in the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. Slaughterhouse is ranked number 151, but the unofficial flat track stats predicts a ranking of 93 for Winnipeg. So there we can expect them to give Slaughterhouse a hard time. Their jammer, number 63, Put It On My Tab, through and lead.
And we have number 1190, Ricochet jamming out there for Slaughterhouse.
And Ricochet picks up a forearm blocking penalty and sits in the penalty box for 30 seconds. A power play for Put It On My Tab, picking up 5 points.
And Pepper, the pivot for Slaughterhouse, also being sent to the box as well, giving Winnipeg an advantage in the blockers, and she is making the most of it, picking up that 5 points already.
So the skaters pick up 5 points for each opponent that they lap after clearing the pack for the first time. So you might ask, why are they getting points even if the opponents are in the penalty box? You do get credit for those opponents when you pass the first blocker at the back of the pack. And just piling on the 5-point passes, there's now a 20-point jam already for Put It On My Tab.
That's right. She made the most out of that diminished pack there and in that power jam, able to pick up a lot of points there, bringing the score 32-2. Winnipeg still on top.
Interesting that she chose to call it off at that moment. She had the potential of picking up a few more points as Rika Shenene had just gotten back onto the track and hadn't even cleared her initial pass through the pack, but she opted to put an end to the jam and set up this next one, which is the 4th jam of the game.
Doing a bit of a pivot line start. This time JG brings up a little bit early in this game.
Betty Krakaho on the jammer line for Slaughterhouse.
Number 1107, Scar2 beat you through and lead for Winnipeg.
A nice...
Oh! She goes to the air. Does she stick the landing? We'll find out if she's awarded the points. And she is.
Yeah, picking up that full 5 points. A great apex jump there. The landing wasn't perfect, but she's able to get all the points, and that's all that really matters.
I thought there was the potential that she might have been called for a back block, but she was not. Betty is through the pack, clear to score for Slaughterhouse.
4 more points for Scar2B2 as she gets the sign from her bench to call off that jam, and that brings it to 41-2 here with just over 25 minutes to go.
Yes, 9 points on that last jam for Scar2 beat you. So far, Slaughterhouse has only fielded 2 different jammers. Let me see if I can identify the jammer from here. It is number 1990, Rika Shenene, alternating with Betty Krakaho on the jammer line for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls.
Winnipeg hitting some tough defense there, just hitting that wall of Slaughterhouse as she pushes her way through there. And we have a pileup at turn 1, and that's going to give Pint Size, number 411, sending her to the box. Looks like that was a forearm penalty being called on her. This is going to give Slaughterhouse a power jam situation as she mixes it up there on the straightaway, getting another Winnipeg blocker sent to the bench. And now we have Slaughterhouse getting that lead jammer status. Rika Shenene going to see if she can put some more points up on the board here for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls.
Only the second lead call of the game for Slaughterhouse.
Winnipeg working an effective bridge there as they are trying to keep Rika Shenene as contained as possible. I want to minimize those points that can get put up on a board during a power jam. And there we have it now, Pint Size released from the box, and that's going to force Slaughterhouse to call it off before she could get any points. Some great defense there from Winnipeg as they did not let, no, there were 3 points being scored there, so they managed to only let 3 points being scored during that power jam.
We saw Rika Shenene's bench signaling and calling to her to try and get the jam called off while Pint Size Poison was still in the penalty box, thereby extending the power jam. But she was so busy dealing with blockers that she was not able to see that. She did get it called off as Pint Size got back onto the track.
So we'll have both jammers out there. And for Winnipeg, that is number 204. 214.
204 is Let's Go. And wearing the star for Slaughterhouse. Can't quite see from here. Lead jammer is Let's Go for Winnipeg. Let's Go already back into the pack, 4 points through the pack. That should be 5 points. We call it a grand slam because that's as many as you can get on a single pass. It is number 928, Betty Krakaho, still alternating with Rika Shenene as the jammer for Slaughterhouse.
Let's go. Quick number 5 on the board.
Let's Go gets through, gets 5 more points for Winnipeg as they are continuing to just control this game.
So far, the 2 lead calls for Slaughterhouse have only resulted in 5 points, whereas Winnipeg is really capitalizing here. Another Grand Slam pass there, but now Betty is through the pack and clear to score. That's going to put pressure on Lex to call it off, but she completes the scoring pass first. That should be 4 more, and it is.
Some great skating there as she was able to quickly get those last second points, but as Slaughterhouse, Betty Krakow was about to get into that pack, got on her toes on that inside line, ran through, and got the 4 points.
6 jams down.
We got Scar2 Beachu on the line again for Winnipeg. And it looks like a fresh jammer now for Slaughterhouse.
And Scar2 B2 out first, getting lead jammer status one more time for Winnipeg Roller Derby.
It's Slaughterhouse's captain Pepper, number 99, with their star. Scar2 Beachu, not wasting any time, managed to stay inbounds along the inside for 5 points.
A big hit there from Pepper. She was about to make her way through, gets knocked down, did not recycle back through, and that's going to get her that cut track. And now we're going to have another power jam play for Winnipeg Roller Derby as they now have 70 points.
Yeah, as Pepper went down to the track, putting her out of play. Then some of her opponents scooted backwards. And when she stood up, she had advanced her position while out of play, which is what we call cutting the track.
Winnipeg going through turn 1, Scar2 B2 getting 5 more points. Winnipeg has been very effective here at getting on that inside line. And now we have a star pass. She passes the jammer panty to the pivot.
That's number 055, Flem Fatal.
And with that star pass, Flem having to cycle back, and now the power jam over. Pepper back on the track.
It's an interesting strategy. By doing that, Scar2 Beachu gave up lead, but gave a fresh pair of legs, the jammer star, to score points.
Right, so now because she was lead jammer, gave it up. The jam's going to go the full 2 minutes, but now we have Pepper making her way through to start her scoring run for Slaughterhouse.
That means that Flem has only 4 points on that last pass. The time expires on the jam before Pepper can get into the pack for points, and timeout is being called for Slaughterhouse. Each team has 3 timeouts that they can call between jams only, stop the clock for 60 seconds. I think this is very timely for Slaughterhouse. They have been just hemorrhaging points so far, and it's an 89-5 lead for Winnipeg. They need to take a moment here and regroup and get their heads back in the game.
That's right. I mean, we're just barely 10 minutes into this game, and already a very large point discrepancy here. We're going to hopefully this timeout, Slaughterhouse can mix up their strategy, see if they can start putting some more points up on the board.
This is only the second sanctioned game for Winnipeg. They this year had their first game, lost to Fargo Moorhead by 7 points. That was 139 to 132. They only gained full membership in the Women's Flat Track Derby Association last December. So this weekend is an opportunity for them to bring in several sanctioned games and make them eligible for ranking at the next month, I should believe, for the WFTDA.
And we are done with the timeout. We have the skaters back on the floor. Winnipeg getting lead jammer status, and that is number 63. Put it on my tab as she quickly got through that Slaughterhouse pack.
Slaughterhouse trying a little different, reporting with number 187, Slim Slam Mayhem on the jammer line. And Slim is through. That's going to limit Tab to 4 points on this pass. Interestingly, Tab is not calling it off, allowing Slim Slam Mayhem to get into the pack and pick up some points.
That shows a lot of trust in her blockers that she believes they can contain the Slaughterhouse Jammer while she can continue to put some points up on the board for Winnipeg.
It is true that Slim has been contained in the pack and hasn't completed her scoring pass, but the Slaughterhouse blockers have been able to contain Tab as well.
And we had Sinfully Sweet hitting the Winnipeg Jammer out there, cycling her back, slowing her down a little bit, but she was still able to get 4 points on that last go-around. But looks like Slaughterhouse getting 4 points as well.
Yeah, trading 4-point passes there. Jam called off. That's going to increase Slaughterhouse's total to 9 points. Their first points in several jams. 97 on the board for Winnipeg. 18 minutes to go on our first period clock. Then we'll have a 15-minute halftime and a whole another 30 minutes of derby.
4-1-1, Pint Size Poison.
Pint Size Poison taking the star for Winnipeg. Number 4-1-1.
And Slaughterhouse Jammer mixing it up with a 3-wall of purple there against Winnipeg. And that is number 1190, Rika Shanene, jamming out there for Slaughterhouse. She is through and gets that lead jammer status for Slaughterhouse.
Pint Size through the pack in pursuit, about a quarter lap behind or less, and in fact gaining.
With the Slaughterhouse block, with the Winnipeg blockers in the back, that could have been an opportunity. That looks like it did work out. 3 points for Rika Shanene. And coming out of this timeout, Slaughterhouse has improved some. They've over doubled their points since coming out of that timeout.
More importantly, they've managed to pick up a couple of lead calls and hold Winnipeg to fewer points as well. Now 12-97 on the board at the 17-minute mark.
And Winnipeg out there now with just 2 blockers. Slaughterhouse in red with the full contingent of blockers there, and this could be another opportunity for Slaughterhouse to get that lead jammer status. And that is Betty Krakaho out there jamming for Slaughterhouse.
But pushing at the front, it's Lex Go who gets through first, lead jammer for Winnipeg.
Now this will likely bring Winnipeg over that 100-point mark already here with still 16 minutes to go.
Betty is through the pack. That'll apply some pressure.
That's right, Slaughterhouse able to get up in front of those blockers to be in the front of the pack to extend how long she can be out there.
So Lex Go still questing for points, even though Betty has gotten into the pack for points of her own. That means it's more important for her to rack up her own points than to prevent Slaughterhouse from picking up points. She's recycled now through the infield.
That's right, it looks like a penalty called there on Kristen Knight. But that was probably worth it as they were finally able to slow down Winnipeg there a little bit.
There go the 4 points for Lex Go on that pass, indeed taking them into triple digits.
Lex Go through again, picking up another 5 points. Slaughterhouse able to control the momentum in that early part of this jam, slowing down how many points she could get, but now we have them running away with points. Another apex jump. I think this is like the 3rd apex jump we've seen here from Winnipeg, and it is going to award 3 more points to Winnipeg.
3 picked up by Betty on her scoring. No, it must be 4 because there's, yes, it's, I got those backwards there.
16-110, Winnipeg in purple on top, Slaughterhouse in red, 16 points. And now through the pack, number 1107 for Winnipeg, Scar 2 beat 2, and she is through like a flash, getting that lead jammer status for Winnipeg.
Is Rika Shanene back with the star for Slaughterhouse? They've been relying very heavily on those 2 jammers, Betty and Rika Shanene.
And Scar 2 B2 through again, gaining another 5 points.
Now more than halfway through our first period, 14 minutes on the clock.
Another quick little jump over the track there, and that's going to get Scar 2 B2 through for another 5 points. While Ricochet still mixing it up there with the Winnipeg defense. And it looks like now getting a penalty called.
Well, and Slaughterhouse seems to have lost the momentum they were picking up there. We'll see if they can get their heads back in the game, and that could be a potentially costly penalty, not just in terms of points, as 5 more go to Scar 2 beat you, but in terms of keeping your jammer on the track is critical to keeping your heads together.
That's right. Yeah, it definitely decreases morale, those power jams, and watching the opposing team just rack up points. We're at 20 points already in this jam, and most of those points, 15 of those points coming before Slaughterhouse's jammer was even in the penalty box. She is now up, making her way back onto the track, but another 5 points scored again by Scar 2 B2.
Scar 2 showing a great ability to keep her skates inside the boundary line. Once again, she calls it off despite the fact that Ricochet was on her initial pass, and she could have eked a few more points out there. But nevertheless, a dominating performance on that jam, 25 points.
And that this is, again, just their second regulation sanctioned game, so I'm sure that strategy will continue to evolve, and they'll get used to, waiting to call off that jam to maximize the amount of points they can get.
Slaughterhouse is the older league. They were founded in 2008. Winnipeg founded in 2010.
And that's put it on my tab, getting lead jammer status again for Winnipeg.
We've already seen so far in this game now.
And Slim Slam Mayhem, I believe, on the track, number 187 for Slaughterhouse.
Pushing them forward.
Slim pushed into the outfield, has to recycle.
Some great diamond formation there through Winnipeg, but Slim Slam Mayhem able to get right through that to start her scoring run. Slaughterhouse with an effective four-wall there, up there at the front, stopping that jammer from getting through, only be able to pick up 2 points, but forcing her to call it off as Slim Slam Mayhem was approaching the track.
Total of 7 points on the jam for Winnipeg. They come to a total of 142. Still 16 on the board for Slaughterhouse. 11 and a half minutes to go in our first period.
They're seeing, okay, you guys want to know, okay, we're coming, what are we going to do? And they break into action. It's almost as if they practice this.
You can see in purple the Winnipeg blockers linking hands. If a skater challenges those, they have to let go or risk being penalized for a multiplayer block.
That's right. Winnipeg using girl meat there at the start of the jam, skating backwards, sort of shot calling, but that's going to be lead jammer status for Slaughterhouse as Winnipeg had to cycle back to the beginning of the track again, and now Pint Size, the jammer for Winnipeg, getting a penalty. Looks like that is a back block.
Was it a back block?
And so now we're going to have Slaughterhouse in a power jam situation here.
A costly penalty, a track cut on Ricochet, and we're going to swap the jammers. When Ricochet sits down, Pint Size Poison will stand back up and rejoin the action. Ricochet will then spend the exact same amount of time in the penalty box.
So now we have Pint Size back out on the track for Winnipeg. They are now at 142 here, 10 minutes to go. But it looks like now both jammers back out on the track.
That seems to have been Pint Size Poison's first pass, now eligible to score. A scoring pass for Ricochet, 5 points.
And 4 points for Pint Size.
30 seconds remaining in this jam. It will end at the 2-minute mark.
Some great defense there. Slaughterhouse walling up, but they only focused on the inside. That let Pint Size kind of get around on that outside, but another blocker followed her out there, hit her out of bounds, and is going to cycle her way, way back.
We also see Pepper recycled way back on the outside. She's wearing the pivot stripe for Slaughterhouse. Ricochet retaining the star. Time expires on the jam. Points are awarded.
3 more points for Winnipeg there, it looks like. and 4 for Slaughterhouse.
So a total of 9-7 on the jam advantage. Slaughterhouse. 25 to 149 on the board with about 8.5 to go.
Now it looks like there was a penalty, so Winnipeg's jammer now in the penalty box. So Slaughterhouse starting in a power jam situation. A great opportunity here for them to get that lead jammer status and put some points on the board. But some tight defense there from Winnipeg. And it looks like we have a multiplayer block being called.
So that's where we were talking about. You have to be careful when you're holding on to your opponent. If the opponent challenges that link, you better let go or you will get that penalty. Betty is through, lead jammer for Slaughterhouse.
And Winnipeg's jammer now standing. She's making her way on to the track. And that is still going to be pint size in purple there for Winnipeg. And Betty Krakaho now calling it off after she got
4 points by my count. Still a significant lead for Winnipeg. Now, we have a little bit of the first period left in the entire second period. Can Slaughterhouse make up 120 points in that time? Believe it or not, I've seen similar feats accomplished in the past, but not very often. This is a big challenge for Slaughterhouse.
Now, only 2 blockers out there for Winnipeg. This would be a good opportunity for Slaughterhouse to get that lead jammer status. But that is Lex, number 204 for Winnipeg. And Lex Go, seeming to defy the laws of physics there. She jumps up in the air to get that lead jammer status for Winnipeg.
Rika Shanene now clear of the pack for Slaughterhouse, which will limit what Lex can do.
Yeah, especially with Lex being cycled back there all the way behind Pepper. And that forces her to call it off. It looks like Slaughterhouse was able to sneak in a few points there. No points.
That's 4 points for Winnipeg.
Looks like both teams are going to start with a 1 leader deficit as we start this next jam.
I'm really impressed that Slaughterhouse is able to do as well as they are while relying heavily on these 2 jammers. We've seen some teams in the past that have relied on a 2-jammer rotation. It requires a great deal of commitment and athleticism from those jammers.
And that is put it on my tab, number 63, jamming for Winnipeg, able to get that lead jammer status. While number 928, Betty Krakaho in red, still struggling to get past those 2 blockers. A very effective 2 blockers out there for Winnipeg. They've been able to contain Betty Krakaho very well with only half of the pack out there. But she is now through the pack, trying to chase down, put it on my tab.
Tab picking up 5 points on her first scoring pass through the pack.
Winnipeg has been taking that inside line right here at turn 1. I've probably seen them get multiple points there. They have been very effective at taking that inside line and getting those 5 points right there.
And it works again for Tab as she grabs the 4 points. Calls off the jam. Down to about 5 minutes to go in our first period. 29 on the board for Slaughterhouse Derby Girls. 162 for the Winnipeg Roller Derby League. Thank you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV.
Some multiplayer blocks being called there on the pack. And we have number 1107 out there for that SCAR2B2 for Winnipeg, picking up that lead jammer status.
It's number 13, Madame Medusa from Slaughterhouse, who was called for that multiplayer block.
SCAR2B2 fighting her way through, gets the sign from her bench to keep going as she picks up another 5 points.
Winnipeg putting up huge defense.
SCAR2 getting into the pack again, meeting some resistance at the front of the pack from number 214, Krista Knight for Slaughterhouse, but able to get around on the outside. 5 up.
10 points scored so far in this jam, but she makes her way through, takes a little tumble, quickly back up on her skates, another 5 points.
The floor here at the Budweiser Event Center is polished concrete.
Rika Shanene still just getting worked over by that Winnipeg defense, as they have been a very effective three-wall there with a blocker in the front, skating backwards, calling the shots, telling her blockers where to go. And with another 5 points for Winnipeg, that was a 20-point jam, bringing them up to 182 here with just over 3 minutes to go.
It was a full 4 blockers out there for Winnipeg, handling Rika Shanene over there outside of turn number 3. Sorry, that's turn number 2.
Setting up 09 Viper, first time on the jam line.
Number 09 Viper taking the star for the first time for Slaughterhouse in this jam.
In purple is number 204.
Lex Go is back on the line for Winnipeg.
Lex Go has been a very effective jammer out there, doing some very impressive skate work to get through those packs again right there on the inside line of turn 1, getting that lead jammer status. Winnipeg has been owning that turn 1 inside line as they continue to just exploit all of the weaknesses in Slaughterhouse's defense to get through any weakness.
Lex Go is now 4 for 4 on lead jammer calls.
Some Winnipeg skaters there going hand in hand, frontwards and backwards, as they control Slaughterhouse's jammer there. A lot of great teamwork we've been seeing here from Winnipeg. Great teamwork and communication from them, having the skaters constantly looking backwards and telling the other blockers where to go. And it is definitely paying off for them in regards to points, as they have now picked up 10 points so far in this jam.
Slaughterhouse probably hoping for some fresh legs by handing the star to Viper. Unfortunately, doesn't quite work out for them on this jam, as 5 final points collected by Lex Go. She calls it off. That was 15 on the jam.
As they're getting dangerously close to 200 points here, as time starting to run out now, just over a minute here for the first half of play.
I see number 411 Pint Size Poison with the star for Winnipeg.
Another jammer taking the jam line for the first time, that is Madame Medusa.
And number 13 Madame Medusa out for the first time for Slaughterhouse. So we see Slaughterhouse trying to experiment now and try things they haven't before, see what will work, and that worked for them. Madame Medusa through the back, lead jammer, and a penalty on Pint Size Poison. It's a track cut, power jam for Madame Medusa.
Madame Medusa gets through all of the blockers, gets 4 points. Not all the blockers, gets 4 points, calls off that jam. So her team can start up in a new power jam. Going to the jammer line will be Betty Krakaho for Slaughterhouse. Both teams at full strength with regard to blockers.
Period clock picking down to 45 seconds. This is likely to be the final jam of the first half.
Wow, Betty Krakaho getting through right in between a weakness there to get through to get lead jammer status very quickly for Slaughterhouse. I think that's the quickest we've seen them get that lead jammer status. Winnipeg not wanting to do that again, forcing Betty Krakaho out, but looks like a forearm penalty called on her, so that is going to send her to the bench, which will be releasing Pint Size, who has also been just a force to be reckoned with out there on the track. So an opportunity here for Winnipeg to get some more points. As we have some blocker action going on there without any jammers. Blockers just kind of jockeying for position. But Winnipeg back on the track now.
Re-engaging right now with the Slim Slam Mayhem.
Pint Size Punisher being hit out of bounds, though, by number 187, Slim Slam Mayhem, cycling her back to the jammer line again. It looks like she keeps trying to take that outside line, cuts over to the inside, but that's again 187. Slim Slam Mayhem is cycling her through, slowing her down a little, but she is now in starting her scoring run. So
period clock has expired, so the jam clock controls. Only about 40 seconds remaining on that jam clock. And Betty is out of the pack for 5 points. She'd already made her initial pass.
Dancing on the inside line.
So both jammers going to have to go here till the end of that jam clock with no lead jammer established.
4 on the board there for pint-sized poison.
Betty Krakow taking a hit onto that inside, having to cycle back behind all of the Slaughterhouse, all of the Winnipeg blockers.
Now, pint-sized poison passed the star to D3PO of her team, the pivot. First time that she has held the star. She picked up 1 point on the pass she was already on, and then 5 more to end the first period of play.
So it looks like it's just going to be a 5-minute halftime as we are trying to keep the Mayday Mayhem tournament on schedule.
202 for the Winnipeg All-Stars, 40 for the Slaughterhouse Prime Cuts. We'll be back with the second half.
So on the scoreboard at halftime, we have 202 points for Winnipeg Roller Derby, 40 points for the home team, Slaughterhouse Derby Girls. Only a few minutes in halftime, so we'll take a quick break here. I'm Mark Bradford, also known as Brad Example.
I am L. Ryan Hubbard.
Thank you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV. We'll be back with you in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ColoradoSports.TV coverage of the 2015 Mayday Mayhem tournament here at the Budweiser Event Center in Loveland, Colorado, hosted by the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls from Greeley, Colorado, who are one of the 2 teams in the current game. I'm Mark Bradford, also known as Brad Example.
I'm L. Ryan Hubbard.
We're coming back from halftime, a significant lead for the challengers, the Winnipeg Roller Derby League from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. They have a 167-point lead. It's 207-240. We do have another 30 minutes of play. It's going to be a definite uphill climb for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls. This is Winnipeg's first year of sanctioned play. In fact, this is only their second sanctioned game in the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. They attained full membership last December in 2014.
And even though currently they are not ranked, they are predicted to come in around 90 rank there. Slaughterhouse ranked 151.
So in one sense, if you trust those numbers, this is a predicted outcome. But the whole reason you play the games is the predicted outcomes aren't always necessarily correct. Now, earlier today at Mayday Mayhem, we saw a new challenger come in, and it was the Muddy River Rollers, also from Canada. I would be very interested to see them play against Winnipeg.
And now Scar2B2 back on the track and getting lead jammer status quickly for Winnipeg Roller Derby. But that is, we have Slaughterhouse's jammer through to begin her scoring run.
Rika Shanene, that Slaughterhouse has been relying on very heavily. 2 points picked up by Winnipeg, calling off the jam. Now, if I'm Slaughterhouse at this point, this is the time to just try everything you can think of. You know, mix it up, put different jammers on the jammer line, jammers who are normally blockers, blockers who are normally jammers, because you don't have anything to lose at this point. Just try every combination. We saw a little bit of that from Slaughterhouse at the end of the first period, with Madame Medusa taking the start for the first time, Viper taking the start for the first time. I'll be interested to see what other adjustments they choose to make.
That's right. It worked out very well for them when they put Madame Medusa on the track. They picked up quite a bit of points from that. Back on the track, Winnipeg jamming there. It is Lex Go, number 204 in purple for Winnipeg, getting lead for Winnipeg.
Number 928, Betty Krakow, still, or I should say, yet again, taking the star for Slaughterhouse. She's been alternating with Rika Shanene for most of the game.
And there's a pile up there. Betty Krakow slow to get up. Looks like she's going to make her way off to the ref lane.
Yeah, she's just taken herself out of play, and the officials are going to call off the jam and summon the medical crew.
And it looks like we're getting the sign. She was able to pick up 5 points for Slaughterhouse.
So the room going quiet now. You can see officials and skaters taking a knee. This is tradition in the Women's Flat Track Derby Association whenever a skater is down. We don't like it to go totally silent in the house. That can be a little creepy as well.
Yeah, well, I think the EMT is very quick to get out there. Looks like there was a pile up there on the straightaway. A couple skaters went down. So we will find, when we know more, we'll let you know exactly what has happened and what the prognosis is.
Take the opportunity to tell you a little bit about Mayday Mayhem. This is the 5th year of the tournament. Every year it has been hosted by the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls, the team you see on the track in red. And it's a 3-day tournament. We have 14 women's teams sorted into 2 pools of 7 who will play round robin to determine seeding into an elimination bracket. That bracket will start play Saturday afternoon. We have 3 men's teams coming who will play round robin tomorrow, Saturday. And we have 4 junior teams who will be playing 2 games on Sunday. So the clock has stopped, 28 minutes and 13 seconds to go in our second period of play. Thank you for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV for this internet coverage. Take the opportunity to not only thank or echo El Ryan's thanks to the medical staff who are just now helping Betty Krakaho off the track. Seems to be having issues with her knee, perhaps. But also all the volunteers that are making this weekend possible, particularly the skating and non-skating officials who track the points, track the penalties, enforce the rules, and keep the skaters as safe as possible.
Injuries bound to happen in a physical game like roller derby, but every precaution taken to make sure that treatment is given quickly and that everyone is playing as safe as possible.
It is a full contact sport. We have requirements for pads and other protective gear. We're gearing up for our next jam. 28 minutes and 13 seconds, as I said, on the second period clock.
Winnipeg in purple with 218 points. Slaughterhouse in red with 40. And jamming for Slaughterhouse, that is Put It On My Tab, number 63. That's Winnipeg, I'm sorry. And jamming for Slaughterhouse is number 1190, Rika Shanene. It'll be interesting to see what the jam rotation will be for Slaughterhouse now with Betty Krakaho out.
Yeah, she was a mainstay of their jammer rotation along with Rika Shanene here. 4 points for Put It On My Tab getting through the pack. And so that's going to force Slaughterhouse to do the thing that I suggested. Rika Shanene wanted 1 point as she got into the pack as the jam was called off, but the officials did not award that point, and it's 222 to 40.
That was a very close one. I did not know how that was going to go, if the point was going to get awarded or not. Looks like the fourth whistle must have blown before her hips passed that blocker.
That is the calculus that you have to make. So Pint-Sized Poison, number 411, has the star for Winnipeg.
Oh, some early jammer-on-jammer action there at Slaughterhouse. It looks like that was Slim Slam Mayhem. Hits her out and cycles her back. She's having none of it, though.
Yes.
She's just going to stand there and make her come back.
Slim wants Pint-Sized Poison to follow her all the way back around to the front of the pack to be reabsorbed, but Pint Size realizes, no, I don't have to do that because you're going to have to come back this way anyway if you want to get through the pack. And so she's just waiting and capitalizes by getting through the pack first. Pint Size Poison, lead jammer.
Some great defense there from Slim Slam Mayhem. Unfortunately, did not work, but she has now almost made her way through the pack, but looks like right at the end they're getting called with a cut track. So that's going to give Winnipeg another power jam here as Pint Size takes a big hit from number 214, Kristen Knight, but Kristen Knight went out of bounds as well. Pint Size not having to cycle back and gets another 5 points for Winnipeg.
Slaughterhouse also losing their blocker, number 9, Emma Wrecking Ball, to the penalty box on a back block.
And then we had D3PO with some great defense helping Pint Size get through on that outside line as she contained the Slaughterhouse blockers for her.
So already 2 Grand Slam passes for Pint Size, and that should add a third. Yep, there's all 5 points.
That Pint Size able to get low and skate under the Slaughterhouse blockers as she put 15 points up on the board in that jam.
She calls it off, and it looked to me as though Slim Slam Mayhem was about to return to the track. So again, Winnipeg in principle could have picked up a few more points. They don't seem to have that as their priority. They go ahead and call off the jam.
Once again, it's like deja vu up here, shoulder to shoulder. Penalty box once again, the seats are getting cold, so it's a 5-on-5.
And back out on the track very quickly through the pack to get lead jammer. That is 1107 Scar 2B2.
And yet again, it is Rika Shanene with the star for Slaughterhouse. She's just a machine today.
That's right, some great skating there as she was able to get past D3PO to start her scoring run.
That limits Scar2 Beachy to 4 points. She calls it off, 4-0 jam. Advantage Winnipeg, 241 to 40. So now a 200-point lead for the visitors from Winnipeg. So as I was saying earlier, I would love to see Muddy River, the victors in the first game that I watched today, taking on Winnipeg, 2 teams from Canada. I think they could be very competitive.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting games here in the next in this 3-day tournament.
So the top 4 teams in each 7-team pool go into bracket play, and the lower 3 teams play each other for placement.
And Lex gets through while a multiplayer block called on Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse's jammer very close behind her, though, and that is Slim Slam Mayhem of the previous jam when she had hit Pint Size out.
So at first glance, it appears as though Slim will be taking Betty's place in the lineup. 2 points collected by Lex, who calls it off before Slim is able to get in for points.
And like you had said, this is an opportunity for Slaughterhouse to learn some new things. I think we saw that with Slim Slam Mayhem when she hit that Pint Size Punisher, the jammer for Winnipeg, out of bounds and tried to cycle her all the way back. I know it's a very good opportunity to just try some things like that, fine-tune them.
So we're down to 23 minutes to go in the second period.
And that is Winnipeg out there, number 63. Put it on my tab. And she is getting lead jammer for
Rika Shanene.
Winnipeg.
Yeah, Rika Shanene back out yet again for Slaughterhouse. By my count, this is her 12th jam of the game.
And the last 3 jams, we've seen Slaughterhouse hold Winnipeg to very low scoring jams, just 2 points, 4 points, 5 points. Very different from the first half of play where Winnipeg was getting massive jams, 20, 15 points each go around. They're getting more effective at getting through that pack and laying their jammer, force Winnipeg's jammer to call off the jam.
I'm going to hazard a guess that Pint Size Poison's number is 4.
So even if Slaughterhouse isn't able to put a dent in the score, they are at least able to slow them down significantly. So let's hear it for adjustments.
And it looks like that is Pint Size Poison out again on the track for Winnipeg.
And it is Slim again, certainly taking now Betty's place in the rotation, going back and forth between numbers 187 and 1190 on the Slaughterhouse side of the
And she gets through on that inside line with a little help from Emma Wrecking Ball, and she is now starting her scoring run. Almost there. Point size Poison calls off that jam, though, after picking up 2 more points.
As you were saying, Ryan, held to 2 points, and so Slaughterhouse getting a little traction, at least in terms of slowing Winnipeg down, keeping them to the single pass and not even full pass scoring jams.
And now just about 21 minutes to go here. It is Slaughterhouse 40 in red, Winnipeg 249 in purple, as Scar 2B2 gets lead for Winnipeg. And it looks like now we have a multiplayer block called on the jammer for Slaughterhouse, going to give Winnipeg another power jam here. After Slaughterhouse had been so effective at keeping those jams small, Winnipeg likely to run away here with another big jam.
Especially if Scar 2B2 is going to carry out apex jumps like that one, picking up 5 points on the power pass.
Very effective. She got turned around backwards to put those hips out to make sure she got past those players and gets through for another 5 points. But now we have Rika Shinene, the jammer for Slaughterhouse, standing up and getting ready to get out of the penalty box.
Multiplayer blocking, a relatively rare penalty for jammers.
And it looks like Winnipeg taking, I don't know if they're listening to the feed, but they are now not calling off the jam because the Slaughterhouse jammer, Rick Shinene, did not make her initial pass. So this is the first time we've seen that power jam where they have not called it off when the jammer coming off the penalty box has still not done her initial pass.
However, it looks like Scar 2 has had enough skating because she does call off the jam after a final 4-point pass, taking Winnipeg to a total of 273 on the board, 40 still for the Slaughterhouse Derby girls.
Yeah, on that power jam, Winnipeg able to pick up 24 points. And now we have some penalty trouble for Slaughterhouse, just 2 blockers out there. And we have Winnipeg's jammer lining up on that outside line and just jumping all the way over to the inside line, getting back to the outside, getting through, put it on your tab, lead jammer for Winnipeg.
Slim Slam Mayhem tries to step back.
Slim Slam Mayhem with the star for Slaughterhouse. Sorry.
A big hit there from 214 on Slaughterhouse, Krista Knight, but able to slow down Winnipeg there for just a little bit.
Now, we mentioned that Slaughterhouse was able to get a little bit of traction, but unfortunately it hasn't been where it counts the most. Slaughterhouse yet to score this period.
And 5 more points for Winnipeg, bringing them 10 so far in this jam, as Put It On My Tab continues to just get points.
Slim Slam Mayhem out of the pack. Oh, here's an opportunity.
That's right, a cut track on Put It On My Tab. Slim Slam Mayhem now in a power jam situation, going to see if they can get past that 40-point mark. They've been out for multiple jams. She does, gets the full 5 points.
All 5 points.
Breaking that scoring drought for Slaughterhouse.
Yeah, Winnipeg able to keep them locked down at 40 points for a very long time, but now with the power jam here, Slaughterhouse finally able to put some points up on the board, but a big hit there from Winnipeg sends her cycling back as all the skates going. Back out on the track now. Put It On My Tab. Slaughterhouse was ready for it. They line up, but she is able to get through that 2-wall to get 4 points for Winnipeg.
Neither jammer can call it off, so we have 7 seconds remaining in the jam until it's called off by the officials. That's enough time for Tab to sneak through for another 5 points.
Slim Slam Mayhem mixing up there. Looks like she was able to get some points on the board as well. 4 more points for her, a 9-point total on that jam. So Slaughterhouse, after a very long point drought, able to finally get some points up on the board. But it was a 9 points for Slaughterhouse, 19 points for Winnipeg on that last jam.
So still a jam win for the team from Manitoba, skating in purple. The team who is the host team, skating from Greeley, Colorado, in red, Slaughterhouse Derby Girls.
And that is Winnipeg through again, getting lead jammer. That is 204. Let's go. And we have number 1190, Ricochet, featured heavily in this jammer rotation for Slaughterhouse, mixing it up there at the front of the pack. And she is able to get through clean and begin her scoring run.
Let's go looking to her bench for advice on whether or not to call it off, and looks like that's a not.
Yeah, she keeps going. Yeah, it looks like Ricochet tried that apex jump that Winnipeg has been doing. Did not work out for her, and she is cycling back there while Lex gets 4 points for her efforts on that last go-around.
Ricochet with 4 of her own.
Yeah, quickly back up off that apex jump and fighting her way through that pack to pick up those points, while Lex now mixed up with a tight wall, a 3-wall defense from Slaughterhouse, calls it off. Looks like she was able to sneak in 1 more point there.
That's enough to take Winnipeg to the 300 realm. There you have 301 on the board, 54 for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls as we near the halfway mark of our second period of play.
Number 357, Jada Pixie, jamming this number 411, Pint Size.
And we have Pint Size Poison on the jammer line for Winnipeg.
And number 357, Jaded Pixie, taking the star for the first time for the Slaughterhouse Derby Girls. Looks like they're trying to mix it up again.
Pint Size Poison gets low right underneath Slaughterhouse's blocker to get that lead jammer status.
Jaded Pixie pushing at the front, 1 to beat, but now another Winnipeg blocker comes up.
Yeah, the bench clearing out there now. It looks like every blocker on the floor now. And that is Jaded Pixie spinning around, getting past the defense. It gets through clean to start her scoring run, but Pint Size Poison calling it off.
Jaded Pixie running out of time. Winnipeg collecting. We have not seen a signal. It looks like it might have been. Oh, there we go. 2 points on the jam.
12 jams down, 14 minutes left to play. Returning jammers start to be to end. Ricochet back at the jam.
So 304 to 53 now.
It looks like that is Ricochet on the jammer line for Slaughterhouse again. And for Winnipeg getting lead, it is Scar to B2.
Had too much lateral movement. Pepper couldn't stop her, and Winnipeg once again with lead jam.
Scar 2 to the pack, through the pack. Looking for advice, does call it off. That's a 4-0 jam in favor of the Winnipeg All-Stars.
Yeah, very quick call off there as Ricochet was about to enter the pack.
So that was a pretty quick jam. Period clock ticking down to the 13-minute mark. Only 1 timeout has been called by the teams. Each team has 3 timeouts per game. Slaughterhouse has used 1 of theirs. Winnipeg has not. They also have 1 official review per period, although if they win their first official review, they then get it back.
Winnipeg's jammer on her toes, going crisscrossing through that track there, getting by on that outside line. That's number 63, put it on my tab for Winnipeg.
Number 09, Vixen jamming, or Viper, sorry, jamming for the 2nd time by my count for Slaughterhouse.
And the little face-off there from Winnipeg as 206 Payne Goodall staring her down, daring her to try to get through. And making her way past the bridged Slaughterhouse girls. 5 more points for put it on my tab. But it looks like a Winnipeg blocker getting called to the penalty box on that last go around. Now with just 3 blockers out there for put it on my tab. She's able to get through again. 5 more points. 10 so far on this jam, still 0 points for Slaughterhouse, as they're a big hit from 613, Rants in Your Pants. And it looks like that was a star pass to Krista Knight, number 214.
A little surprised that that block from Rants in Your Pants wasn't called as a clockwise, but it all depends on the direction that the initiator of the block is moving.
And 12 points on that last go-around. Just over 11 minutes to go here in the second half. Slaughterhouse in red, 53 points. Winnipeg in purple, 320. And it looks like there was a penalty called at the end of that last jam. So it is a power jam for Winnipeg as Lex, number 204, gets lead jammer for Winnipeg.
Which means that Krista Knight, who had accepted the star pass at the end of the last jam for Slaughterhouse, is the one holding the star for the team in red.
5 points.
And we got 5 points put up on the board for Winnipeg. Lex communicating with her team. Her blockers get by to control the blockers on the outside. Slaughterhouse trying to bridge, has to let her go. And we get another 5 points on the board for Winnipeg. But now we have number 214, Kristen Knight, the jammer for Slaughterhouse, back out on the track. And she gets through very quickly to start her scoring run.
Let's go calling it off. 2 additional points on the jam, total of 12.
Who was our hit in the last jam.
So Winnipeg not lightening up here, continuing to increase their lead. Now enjoying the largest margin of the game so far with 10 minutes to go.
As pint-size poison on the jammer line for Winnipeg. And she quickly takes that outside line to get lead jammer status for Winnipeg.
Ricochet back to the line for Slaughterhouse.
Winnipeg at full strength as they are containing Ricochet as they go around turn 2.
Slaughterhouse is missing number 2M, tongue-in-cheek, in the penalty box, but she's standing ready to re-enter.
Pint-sized poison taking a bunch of hits, able to stay up, finally getting one big one, mixing it up with the refs in there, gets out on the track and calls it off.
We haven't seen the points call yet. There it is, 3. So 335 to 53, which is actually a palindromic score for those of you who pay attention to such things, which I know there are some of you out there.
And now blocking out there, we have number 22, Winnipeg, Tenacious V, facing backwards, controlling her other 2 blockers, and they're going to see if that will help their jammer, 107 Scar2D, to get through, and it did. She picked up lead jammer status for Winnipeg.
Madame Medusa, number 13, with the star for Slaughterhouse, and through the pack, which is going to limit the damage that Scar 2 can do. A track cut on Scar2 Beat You, giving a power jam to Madame Medusa, who capitalizes 5-point pass.
This is the second time this has happened to Madame Medusa, where she's been able to get out and get a power jam, and she's putting some points up on the board now for Slaughterhouse. But now there is a 4-wall no pack reestablished very quickly. Multi-player blocks called now as she continues to try to whittle her way past this Winnipeg defense.
Payne Goodall, number 206, with that multiplayer block from the Winnipeg pack. Madame Medusa now pushed into the infield.
Yeah, Tenacious V again. She was the one controlling the shots at the beginning of that jam. Another big hit, but we do have Scar2 Beat 2 back out on the track. Going to see if she can take advantage of that. Nope, Slaughterhouse aware she gets. Looks like she was able to keep her wheels in bounds to get through.
Some great toe stop work on the inside line. 4 for Scar2 Beat You and 5 for Madame Medusa.
And I mean, there's still 29 seconds in this jam, but we can see one of the first jams where Slaughterhouse has the point advantage in the jam. scoring more points than Winnipeg. And a good start there as they cycle Scar 2 B2 back, but Slaughterhouse being cycled back as well. The pack getting sort of split up almost through Madame Medusa, but she gets knocked down and has to cycle back again. But we have a star pass for Winnipeg, but time ends there, and that was going to the pivot, Tenacious V.
It may have looked like Winnipeg didn't have a jammer. They did.
And we did. That was 13 points for Slaughterhouse, only 4 points for Winnipeg, as we see a jam advantage there for Slaughterhouse.
Never bothered to complete it. Put on my tab and Ricochet back on the jam.
66 to 339 on the board, 6 minutes and 14 seconds and counting.
Winnipeg's jammer quickly through, but finding some defense there at the front from Slaughterhouse. That's number 63, put it on my tab.
Ricochet, the stalwart from Slaughterhouse with the star.
And put it on my tab, able to get through for lead jammer for Winnipeg. And Ricochet taking a big hit, but getting up to mix it up again in that pack. Getting through on that outside, that is put it on my tab, getting 5 points for Winnipeg.
Shenane pushing at the front, trying on the outside, but the Winnipeg blockers are relentless.
That's right. They were managing to keep that pack inbound, so that she had to keep fighting through. They were able to continue in that engagement zone, trying to stop her. Now we have put it on my tab through again for 5 more points.
Ricochet now all the way at the back of the pack. Struggling with number 613, Rance in your pants.
Some very quick footwork though as Rance tried to knock her out on that inside line of turn 2. Able to stay on her toe stops and avoid any sort of cut track issues. But another 4 points now, 5 points scored for Winnipeg. 15 points total on that jam.
And the total just going up for Winnipeg, no end in sight. Now a 288-point lead, 354 to 66 with 4 minutes and change to go in the game.
But that east-west movement that we're really seeing the Winnipeg cameras use is allowing them to find the opening and then turn on the afterburners. Agreed. They're really utilizing the entire track, not hitting the same lines every time.
Action coming around in there, turn 1 and turn 2.
Slaughterhouse giving Jaded Pixie another turn with the jammer star.
And that's pint-sized poison jamming for Winnipeg. Tries to take that inside line on the straightaway, gets hit out there by Slaughterhouse and has to cycle back. That was a hit from Tongue-in-Cheek.
Unusually for this game so far, a full 30 seconds gone with no lead jammer. But now, pint-sized poison able to slip through and grab that.
And now they hit number 357, Jaded Pixie out, and she has to cycle back.
This is Colorado. We like to recycle here.
Winnipeg's jammer seeing that 2-wall of Slaughterhouse, able to juke her way through there. She's able to pick up 5 more points.
Pint-sized poison sneaking past Jaded Pixie. That earns her the jammer lap point. Then through the rest of the pack for 4 more, total of 5. Grand slam.
Jaded Pixie with a little bit of knee pad problems there, slowing her down at the end. 10 points put on the board by Winnipeg.
We're down below the 3-minute mark. Going to be about 2.5 when we start the next jam. We got time then for at least 2 more jams, more likely 3, maybe 4. Now the point differential does matter. It does not make sense for Winnipeg to let up at any time because the point differential is part of the calculation of ranking in the WFTDA, and they very much want to come out with a good ranking for their first debut.
Absolutely. Slaughterhouse jammer being sent to the box. That's going to give Winnipeg a power jam. And quickly after that power jam, getting lead jammer status, getting the all clear from her bench. That is 2:04. Let's go out there for Winnipeg.
Number 1190, Ricochet Nene, is the Slaughterhouse jammer in the penalty box.
And we have 5 points put up on the board as Ricochet Nene gets standing up there in the penalty box, ready to make her way through. She is now skating her way to get onto the track. A big hit there. That is number 187.
Oh, and
Slim Slam Mayhem with some big hits.
Let's Go appears to be in a bit of pain, slow to get back to her skates, but she did, and she's skating off under her own power and seeming to tell her teammates that no, she's okay.
Some really big hits. A very physical game we've seen here today here between Slaughterhouse and Winnipeg.
So a total of 6 points on that jam, 370 to 66. Just over a minute on the period clock. This could be the last jam.
And that is Winnipeg getting lead jammer. That is number 63. Put it on my tab. And out there for Slaughterhouse, number 13, Madam Medusa.
They're looking for that magic again.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see if she can get that power jam that she has gotten out there before, but we have 5 points on the board for Put It On My Tab, getting the all clear from the bench to keep going. A blocker out there now for Winnipeg as 2 blockers make their way are in the penalty bench for Slaughterhouse. 5 more points up on the board from Put It On My Tab.
Madam Medusa having some trouble getting through the pack this time. With only 16 seconds left on the period clock, we might just see Tab wait for that to expire and call it off. 5 more for the Winnipeg jammer.
Yeah, out there, just 2 blockers trying to slow down, Put It On My Tab, as she is easily able to take that outside line as we have some more skaters mixing it up there. Some low blocks called, but that is going to be right now our unofficial final. 66 for Slaughterhouse, 390 for Winnipeg. Unlikely to see any point changes in there. A 20-point jam for their very last go-around for Winnipeg.
And as we saw, Put It On My Tab waited for that period clock to expire. At that point, you're on jam time. She calls it off, and that's all she wrote. El Ryan, what have we seen in this game?
We saw some very big jams from Winnipeg. Very effective at maximizing the points in those power jam situations. There was a spree for about 10 minutes in the second half where we saw Slaughterhouse able to contain those jams, though, leaving Slaughterhouse just picking up 2, 4, 5 points at a time, but it was not enough to stem that bleeding that Winnipeg had just amassed a huge point lead.
Yeah, we see, even though they're a couple years younger as a league, Winnipeg coming out and playing dominant roller derby. They really have clearly been doing their homework, been doing their practicing, able to really control Slaughterhouse at every point in the game. Slaughterhouse unable to solve those packs and get their jammers through. So we see a pretty significant defeat for the home team. This is only the second game for Slaughterhouse this year. They won against Assault Creek earlier this year by a score of 153 to 113. But this victory for the Winnipeg Roller Derby League All-Stars is going to really help their debut in the Women's Slack Track Derby Association rankings.
Absolutely. That is a great debut from the team from Winnipeg.
The next game for Winnipeg, which is the Pool 2 team number 6, will be, so that's the game we just played. Pool 2 team number 6 is next going to be at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time, playing against number 2 Duke City Derby up from Albuquerque, New Mexico. For the Slaughterhouse Derby girls, who are team number 3 in Pool 2, we'll next see them play at 7 o'clock tonight. Their opponents will be number 4 FOCO Girls Gone Derby, their neighbors from just down the road. And so thanks again for tuning in to ColoradoSports.TV for coverage of Mayday Mayhem. This is the 5th annual tournament. We're in the pool play. We're playing round robin to determine seeding into a bracket, an elimination bracket, which starts tomorrow evening. My name is Mark Bradford, also known as Brad Example.
And I'm L. Ryan Hubbard.
We are here to bring you this sport all weekend long on ColoradoSports.TV. Follow along on Facebook. Follow on ColoradoSports.TV's page. You can comment there. And if you have any comments about the announcing, there's a link there that you can follow to a feedback form that's being managed by the Association of Flat Track Derby Announcers on behalf of Mayday Mayhem and ColoradoSports.TV. Coming up next on this track, we have at 2:30 p.m. Pool 1, Team 4, that's the Durango Roller Girls, playing against Team 7, the Muddy River Rollers, who, as I mentioned before, were victorious in their first game of the day today against the Rage City Roller Girls from Anchorage, Alaska. I would very much like to see the outcome of a game between Muddy River and Winnipeg.
Yes, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. A lot of great Derby action coming your way.